guys hear me all right?
Yes.
This one here? Hello? Hello? They didn't provide us with a moderator, so I'm just going to have to try and handle that duty myself. So,
You can do it!
I can totally do it. I'm a performer, so it's going to be easy for me. So what we'll do is we'll just do questions and go from there. Does anybody have any? No? Goodbye. Yeah, okay. This is my
Lady
name,
in brown, right there. We're going to go right there, Lady in brown. Your question.
Yeah, that's
nice
you.
and loud, please.
Yeah, just like that. It just happened.
Beautiful.
It's happening right now.
I was going to ask you about season 4. I think I'm about to.
Season 4?
I was going to ask you, but you might say no spoilers, so...
No, I can tell you anything you want. What do you want to know?
Do Barry and Iris ever get married?
Barry and Iris? Who's that? I can do this all day. I can do it left, right, and center. There's going to be something about Barry and Iris. I can tell you that much. Anything else? How about this? How about this? This is an easier one for season 4. Am I in it? You get one more question, Lady in Brown. That's you. A lot of pressure.
He's going to be Harry or which version?
No, I was going to say. What's it like working with Grant Gustin?
Great question. I'm glad you got his name right. The question was, what's it like working with Grant Gustin? I'll just be serious for a minute because I know probably some of you are Flash fans. If I were talking to other people, I'd just be like, oh, so annoying. But the truth is this, you know, Grant is a real rarity because he's a younger guy. I remember being here. I'm Canadian, and yeah, no, it's great. I was doing, you know, theater for a decade here in Toronto and then on Broadway. Doing theater is a whole different thing when you're in your 20s. You know, I did church basement theater and insane asylum. There's an insane asylum. I don't know if it's insane asylum is the right word, but down on Queen, Simcoe Street. There's a church on Simcoe. Like stuff where there's like 7 people in the audience, and you know, anything I could get my hand on, I would do. And you're not recognized. You're doing it because you love to act. And I don't know what it would have been like for me to have the kind of large profile that Grant Gustin has at the same age. And I think it would have been really difficult because everybody wants to tell you that you're great, and you know, you've got all you people paying attention, and it can mess with your mind a little bit. And sometimes a younger actor has to learn just how to act and the lessons that they need to have to further their career. And it can get you can become ill-adjusted unless you've got a good head on your shoulders. And Grant is incredible. He not only is I think he's a phenomenally talented actor who doesn't get, I think, enough credit for his ability. I don't know that people necessarily realize there are lines there that he's asked to say that are that's we call them on-set good tone ring though. Yeah. He's got real ability. You know, he's not just a little bit talented. He's colossally talented. He can make moments come alive that I think most actors couldn't pull off. I think he's incredibly talented, and because of his talent, he's getting all this attention. And he remains, as he was on the pilot, completely focused on trying to tell the story the best way he can. He doesn't care about the acclaim. He doesn't care about all the stuff that can, you know, unmoor you as an actor. It's just very impressive to watch on a daily basis. I directed the last episode of The Flash, and he comes in all the time, you know, which is, when you come from theater, you want to be really prepared and know what the story is, and not just be someone who's like, oh, what are the lines? Grant comes in as a partner, completely and fully prepared every day, not just for me as a director, but for every director that comes in. And it's he's a real rarity, and he's going to have a massive career. You know, he's going to be one of those guys that does a Spielberg war movie, and that leads to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and I think we'll be in a position of saying, well, we knew him back when, and that's a long-winded answer to say he's a tremendous individual. We're so happy with him. Yeah.
Okay, we'll take some more questions. Spider-Man back there. Let's see a Spider-Man. Let's go.
I was just curious. I don't know if they mentioned on the show or I wasn't paying attention. What was the point? What's the point of those drumsticks? They each are always having.
This is a spoiler alert. Does anybody not want to know what happens at the end of season 3? You should close your ears. Seriously. Yeah, can I go ahead and answer that?
Yeah.
So when I was creating the HR character, there's a couple things. When I do the different characters, what I do is I look for the thing that we don't have in our show and try and fill that gap. You know, Grant is so winning, and Candace is so winning, and Jesse is so winning, and Carlos is so funny and talented, and Danielle is so kind and good and talented. You know, I thought there was a place on season 2 for it to be a bit of a dick, you know? Because they're all so great. And on the first season, when I play the Reverse Flash, it's easy because he's a large antagonist, and I thought we had room for a daily antagonist, and that was Harry. Harry's just, social skills are inept. He sucks. People don't like him, but in the end, he's a good dude. You know, and then the next season, we were, you know, we thought, well, you know what, one thing we don't have daily is comedy, so that was kind of the reason for HR. And there were 2 things I decided to do. Interesting. There were 2 things. One was the coffee. I like to drink coffee. And so HR drank coffee. And then the second thing is we needed a tableau for the end of the season. All season long, I knew where we were going with that character and what his grand sacrifice would be. But we didn't want to talk about it. On our show, the thing I like the most, and when I direct the show, we always try and say, let's show them and not tell them. Let's show you people and not tell you, because the audience is smarter than sometimes they're given credit for, and so you have to understand that they will fill in the gaps. You don't have to tell them everything. They're going to be way ahead of you, and what you need to do with an adept audience is try and stay ahead of them a little bit. And so showing, not telling is one way of doing that. And so the tableau ended up being, you know, we knew we were going to transmogrify, switch Iris and HR, and then the way of revealing that would be the drumsticks falling to the ground. Something that you'd seen and absorbed all season long with the drumsticks, and then at the end, when those things fell, you wouldn't have to go have Barry say, which was initially what they thought they would do, was like, oh no, he switched places with. Instead, when the drumsticks fell, you know, the penny would drop, and you would get it. And so that was the main reason for it, and the secondary reason was I used to bang on stuff all the time.
Okay, let's take somebody from the very back on that side. Very back. That's you, sir. Yep, very back. Nice and loud.
The question was, can we expect any more Harrys or HRs? The answer is yes. I don't know if the applause is the right thing, because you know what you're doing, you're encouraging me. That's like, do you want to stand up and show them that tat? Because that's brilliant, your outfit. Look at this. No, seriously, look at this guy. How cool is that? That's what you should be applauding for. Yeah, you know, to me the starting point is Reverse Flash. They asked me to, he's the Flash, they asked me to be the Reverse Flash, but it felt like, I thought that the writers did an exceptional job, like a tremendous job with the first season, where he was disguised as Harrison Wells, and then he was unveiled, and then we ramped up. He kills Cisco, and we ramp up to the end, and unexpectedly, Rick Cosnet, who plays Eddie Thawne, kills himself. And I thought that was just a masterful piece of writing. I don't think that most people saw that coming, and that was the demise of the arch villain for the time being. And it felt like the next season, when we talked about it, it looked like it would just be, if I were to play Reverse Flash, it would be me standing on top of a building going, "You can't stop me, Barry Allen," which we already had. So we thought, well, let's do something different. And then when we did that, it was like, you know what, we have an opportunity here when we created the multiverse to just keep going. And so that was the genesis of all these different characters. Last year we had a tiny piece of it where we went on a quest for what became HR Wells. We found, you know, like we found Mime Wells, and we found, you know, Hell's Wells, Cowboy Wells. And, you know, we had so much fun doing that. We thought, let's just do more of that. And so, you know, this season we're kind of exploring how shameless I can get.
All right, Release standing right there.
Hi. It sounds like you knew a lot about the characters, you know, before the end came. I know a lot of actors, when they talk, they only know each episode as they come, but it sounds like you already knew you were Reverse Flash and all that. Did the rest of the actors know you were Reverse Flash the whole time, or how do y'all work in your...
I can't speak for the other actors. I kind of, this is my, Greg Berlanti runs a bunch, he's like sort of, I'm sure you know who Greg Berlanti is, right? Yeah, okay. So this is my third show for Greg, and we go way back, and you know, when he comes, what I like about him is he's, you know, Greg has offered me, you know, as a Canadian, as someone who, you know, my first larger profile was probably on a show called Scrubs and a show called Ed, and those shows were like, you know, those are good. Those were like kind of good-hearted, fun individuals, you know. And so, but what was interesting about Greg was, who was a guy who knew those shows. He started offering me roles. One was a gay, cocaine-addicted brother-in-law to Christine Latti on Jack and Bobby, and then was a torture guy on Eli Stone. And he offers me, and then the Reverse Flash, he sees me in a different way, which is kind of cool because I like doing those things. And so he tends to like, we tend to lay out the whole, we're talking not just episodes, but seasons worth when we talk. And I think that comes from brotherhood and from spending so much time together. I don't really know what the process is for the other actors. I know sometimes they like to not know, but I remember early on in the season, not every actor knew, you know, what I was, and it was fun to like, you know, tell them on season 4. By the way, dude, I'll be killing you. Yeah, so it was nice. It's good.
Okay, we'll take one more from over here. The person in the orange there.
I just want to know what it was like working on a show like Ed.
The question was, what was it like working on a show like Ed? Or not even like it, like Ed itself.
Yeah.
I don't have I'm not erudite or well-spoken enough to give that show its due, to be honest with you. Like, there's sometimes you just, you know, you kind of, you get extremely fortunate, and that was one of those instances where, you know, Julie Bowen, who is now on Modern Family, and the entire cast and the entire crew have remained friends. Usually on a show you'll take one person from that show, maybe two, and I'm talking crew and cast. It's just really difficult. Everyone always, the intention in the entertainment world is to always work together when you've had a wonderful working experience, and it just doesn't happen. It's just really difficult to arrange. And that show was like a family. That show was, you know, the guy who ran it, Rob Burnett, is still one of my dearest and closest friends. We just hung out last week, and Julie and he and I spent part of the summer together. It's one of those rare things where we just happen to have a really, I'm sure it is how you have in your working environment. If you're really fortunate, you have a really good friend that you work with. To have like 10 of them or 20 of them is ridiculous and too much to ask for, but that's what that show was like. We shot it in a bowling alley, and between takes, people would not repair to their air-conditioned motorhomes, but rather would hang out, and I would play practical jokes nonstop. You know, it was like joking and playing sports and music and fun. And The Flash is a lot like that. When they call cut, Carlos and I are like making up a song, or Jesse's doing some tap dance move, or, you know, people are just hanging out playing. We play a lot of board and video type games and cards and stuff. And not all sets are like that, and when you run into a set like that, you consider yourself extremely fortunate and privileged. The guy in the way back, yeah, you, with the hand up. This guy said his hand
dying
up.
with the hand.
Yes, sir. Of who? Honestly, if I knew the answer to that question, I probably wouldn't tell you. Because the Warner Brothers snipers are all over the place. But I honestly don't know the answer to that question. Yeah.
Okay. Let's take the guy in the orange from the very back on that side. That's you.
Well, I was really happy to hear from Ben. And I'm really glad you mentioned Scrubs, because my favorite character today was Dan Gordon. I'm wondering, your portrayal of Reverse Flash was probably the most sinister I've seen a villain on TV in a long time. And that sure was really good, but you guys are playing the same character, but I find your portrayal sort of like awesome art. You like set the bar like too high.
You know what this is called? This is called answering your own question. First off, this gentleman said some kind words about my portrayal of the Reverse Flash. Too generous, but I'm grateful for that. I loved playing the Reverse Flash. You know, I just one of the things that I like the best, and one of the things I think probably that you appreciate is he's not just a sinister villain twirling his mustache. There's a reason behind his method. He's a guy that wants to get home, and he's a guy that, to him, so many of the people that he's dealing with are already dead, and so he can't help but feel affection because he deals with them. He needs Barry Allen to get home, so he has to protect Barry Allen, so they bond, and it creates a more complex relationship than just enemies because he has to care for him, he has to take care of him, and then he has to use him to try and get home and kill him, and it's a complex character, and it's a blast to play. I can't speak at all to what Lesher does. To me, I'm the Reverse Flash, and that's just the Flash and the Reverse Flash are sort of the symbiosis. The other thing he mentioned was that Dan Dorian is a character I play on Scrubs, who's Zach Braff's brother, and the tagline was "Hey, little brother," which is what I say to him all the time. And there's always room for try and sneak some of that stuff in, but I kind of worry that cross-pollinating between the two would do a disservice to Scrubs, and I'm indebted to Scrubs for, I think that's just a spectacular show, and I'm grateful to have been on that show. Yeah, I don't think that show ever really got its due, but people didn't really care when we did it because we just had so much fun doing it. Cheers.
Thank you. How about the gentleman right here?
Hi, I just wanted to maybe give us some idea of a day in the life on the set of the Flash. Like
Sure.
Time you start, finish, that sort of thing.
Yeah, a day in the life on the set of the Flash. That's a great question. I haven't gotten that, I don't think, before. How much time do we have? Act it out in real time. I'm sure you know this, but filming is, the hours are long. The shortest day we film is a 13-hour day, and because of an hour lunch, that makes it a 12-hour day, and that's 12 hours completely standard. The Flash is an extremely difficult show to shoot because on a normal show like Scrubs, you would have me talking to Zach Braff, and they would have a camera do the master, and then a camera do the over, and another camera do the reverse of that, and they would be done the scene. 2 people talking. And on the Flash, 2 people are talking, but they're talking on a rooftop with a demon coming to get them. And vibrating out, and then, so there's like, every scene has like, is tempted by special effects, and, there's the camera movement is crazy. It's a very, it's a challenging show to shoot, and no director comes in and skates because there's just so much stuff that has to happen. And what that means is, on a typical day, you'll have like a Cortex scene, which is, so we'll get in the morning, and it'll be dark out, and there'll be, they treat you so well on these sets. There'll be catered breakfast, catered lunch, and catered, well, not catered dinner, we order in pizza, but so you'll have your breakfast and you'll rehearse the scene. It's called blocking. We'll block it out, and when all the actors are satisfied with where we're going to go, then they'll send people away to get looking good. Not me, I just go to my trailer. Carlos and I will bring the guitar in, and we'll start, whatever we're riffing on or playing, whatever music that we're doing that day, and they'll set up chairs and tables near the set, and we'll have a card table set up, and people will kind of come in when they're ready, and we'll either be playing music, or we'll be playing cards, or we'll be running the lines if it's a complicated scene. And then we'll jump into the scene, and that's like a normal scene, and then the next one will be, we're getting blown through a window. So then the tension gets a little higher, and it's like there's this, you've got you've got harness attached to you, or Grant has a harness attached, and they've got a green screen set up, and then the stuntmen are there, and the paramedics are there, and it makes your day exciting, and then if it's the last one I directed, we had like a massive amount of explosion happening. You have to make sure that it's safe. You have to do a dry test. You have to have a safety meeting. You have to make sure that everything is set. You do it, then you do a dry run, and then it's like when you're calling action on the stuff, we're like, special effects ready, hot and ready to go, stunts ready, hot and ready to go, and action. And it's a really fun and exciting moment. They do the same kind of thing on Legends and Arrow and these types of shows where you have those kind of stunts. That'll invigorate your day, and then you'll have lunch, There'll be a moment where, we're all sitting outside if it's nice, and, we're just kind of sitting around in a semicircle, just, sharing stories. And then, the night will fall, and there's always that moment where we walk outside and we're like, night! The earth rotated again, and then, we'll finish off. But there's a lot of levity, there's a lot of practical jokes, there's a lot of looking out for one another. The Flash is a tremendous set that way. It really is one of the best all-time sets, and so, we enjoy spending time with each other. We know that we're grateful to have people that get along, and then, we'll wrap it up and then do it again the next day.
6 days a week?
It's a 5-day week, Saturday and Sunday off, with a 9-day shoot schedule. Yeah. Cool. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what was involved in shooting a scene where you'd have both HR and Harrison Wells?
The question was, what's it involved when I'm playing two characters, HR and Harry Wells? So when you direct those ones, they're kind of complicated because you have to set your positions exactly and then lock the camera. So if I shoot a master and I've got HR here and a double here, then I move the double over exactly to where HR is and I come on and play Harry where the other guy was. It's less important where he was, it's more important exactly where I was. But what you can do now with the technology that exists that you never could do is, they've got something called a MoCam, which is a motion camera, which I can actually film me and the other guy and move the camera and tell the camera to remember the move. And then I can switch him out and put me in, and then, so when I blend the two together, it looks like, for example, here's a perfect example of when you act with yourself. Last year on episode 319, I directed Grant talking to future Grant, future Barry, and he comes in and he goes, you know what, you can't save her, leave her alone. And he walks away, and as he walks away, the camera moves from him to him. And it's a pretty cool move because it's like, wait, that's him, and he's watching him walk away. You see them both on camera. And that's done with a motion capture, a MoCam, where I had a Technicrane film him, swing around to the other guy, and it was the same guy. And when I blend those two things together, it's seamless. You can't tell the difference. The camera has to remember. The technology now is phenomenal for doing those kinds of things. But what you always want to remember, because the technology is so good, it was like a friend of mine, Michael Ian Black, said when they did Terminator 2, and he morphed in through the helicopter window and sat beside him, so I was just like, well, my friend said, well, now we can do anything on camera, so we better tell a good story. And we sort of feel the same way. It's like the camera tricks are great, but you have to have the heart and the story behind it. That's the most important thing.
As an actor, how hard is it to make that conversation seem fluid, though?
Yeah, it's not hard. I mean, I can't speak for other actors. The question was, is it hard to make that conversation seem fluid? And that's literally, that's from the big book of acting. That's what you're supposed to do. It's like, if you can't do that and make it seem real, then, get another job.
Okay, we got a couple of hula arms back over there that we're going forever. You guys. Yes.
Oh yeah, so I'd love to talk about that. So you can look for this thing, it's coming soon. It's called Tom and Grant. It initially is the title, and it's a bank heist movie about the two worst inept bank robbers ever. And the genesis for that is, and I think the Flash fans will like this, is that we spend a lot of time, like I said, goofing around. And we always think that if anyone were to spoof the Flash, the best people to spoof the Flash would be the Flash people. Because we mock ourselves constantly, There'll be a lot of times when Grant will do like, we're gonna go back, and we're gonna find an old friend. And then we cut. But on the scene, if I'm standing there, he'll go, we're gonna go back and find an old friend. And I'll be like, yeah? Do you want to tell us who that is? No, we're going to do that in the next scene. The next scene. And so that kind of joking happened so much that I started just writing this kind of thing that was basically, Grant and I play these guys on set that are dumb Barry and dumb Harry. They're really dumb guys. And, there's something that I really like. I find it very attractive to find. One of my favorite things to play as an actor is the really dumb guy that thinks he's really smart. And that's what these bank robbers are like. It's called Tom and Grant. It's a heist movie. It's not for family. It's a lot of cussing and really R-rated stuff. And yeah, it's really bad. It's awful. It's really awful and shameless. And so you'll see whole different sides of Grant and I, but you'll also get an insight into the kind of stuff that we're talking about off camera. We just did the visual effects for it, so it's coming along. It should be out shortly. It's called Tom and Grant now, but probably will be called Quit Your Day Job. But we'll, social media-wise, we'll jam it down your throat so you won't miss it.
Awesome.
Please check it out. Grant and I both love it. It's good. It's the favorite thing we've done in a long time. Yeah.
Awesome. Lady standing over there.
Hi. So you keep talking about you and Carlos riffing and singing. Can we ever expect a musical episode where you guys have more of a role?
Yeah, can we expect a musical episode where we have more of a role? Then that's up to you guys again on social media to talk to the people that run the Flash, because we're both Broadway veterans. We do music all the time. We put it out on social media, and somehow on the Flash musical, we missed that. So yeah. So if you want another musical, then you have to clamor for it. You have to clamor for our involvement, and we'll be involved. Yeah, cool.
All right, little guy right there holding up his arm. There you go.
I know what the crossover will be about, and I can't tell you. I really can't. That's the WB Snipers again, but it's great. It's going to be fun. You're going to like it. It's going to be well worth waiting for. On this season, we have Hartley Sawyer comes in to play Elastic Man, but I probably can't. I don't know. You don't know, right? Yeah, I can't. I better just keep my mouth shut. I don't want a lawsuit.
No. Okay, let's take there's a lady back there who's been dying over there. That's you. Yep.
Oh, hi again. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I just want to say thank you for making my birthday this year the best.
Oh, when is your birthday? Haha, see what I did there? Happy birthday.
Thank you. It was Sunday, but unfortunately Fan Expo doesn't fall on.
Oh my God, what Fan Expo, you gotta get your act together. I'm so sorry, we'll fix that next year.
That's okay. My other question is, if HR didn't exist and you could play any other character, who would it be?
Well, again, I love playing the Reverse Flash. I have so much fun playing the Reverse Flash. So I'm pretty sure it would be Eobard Thawne. That's just as a Lex Luthor type villain. You know that you're always going to keep coming back to it. So we love doing season 1, and I look forward to putting the suit on. Whenever that may happen again.
All right, thandy. And the lady. You're not a lady. You put blood on your face. I'm gonna go.
You with blood on your face. You had me at blood and semen.
That's right.
You had me at blood and semen. Name that movie. Anybody? You had me at blood and semen? Go ahead. Shout it out. You had me at blood and semen. Name the movie. Nice! Dodgeball. Good get. The great Justin Long from Ed. Yep. Yes. Sorry. Anyway, meanwhile, back to the question.
Going back to Reverse Flash, what was it like wearing the costume? Did it feel snuggly or was it terrible?
The question is, what was it like wearing the costume of the Reverse Flash? No, listen, it's crazy to play a superhero or supervillain in this day and age. With apologies to Adam West and the Batman spandex days, this is the day and age you want to put on the suit, because they spend an ungodly amount of money getting it right. They craft it out of leather. They actually have like leather workers come in and take every measurement of your body, and then you have like about 1,000 fittings. And Stephen Amell, who plays Arrow, and Grant got their suits first, and there were things that didn't work out so well with those suits, and I was the beneficiary of the things that didn't work out. Like Stephen, squatted down and split his pants open. Grant's mask was glued to his face, and all those things were marshaled out of the way by the time I got to the Reverse Flash suit. So they worked out a lot of the kinks on these superhero suits. It fits. I can't describe. It's like butter. And putting that suit on is just made for you and you alone. You know, Matt Lesher came and tried to fit in the suit and it was a no-go, you know, it's like, you know, so that suit is incredible, and it's incredible to put on. It's a really cool feeling to put that suit on.
Are you wearing anything under it?
What's the next question?
Over there.
Comedy.
Yep, gentleman right there. You got it.
Yeah, well, those of you who haven't seen the dichotomy and difference between Reverse Flash and Ranger Smith and Yogi Bear, you're missing out, as this gentleman said. So I don't know how much you've focused on the Tom Cavanagh canon, and why would you? But Yogi Bear is well worth checking out. As a matter of fact, T.J. Miller, who I did Yogi Bear with, you know who T.J. Miller is, right? Yeah. So T.J.'s on Silicon Valley, and he did an exit interview, and you know this guy's done Deadpool and Silicon Valley, like a million other things. He goes, well, the best thing I've ever done was Yogi Bear, and so I'm on the downside of my career, so everything is easy. Yeah. Cheers. Yeah.
Right. Lady right there.
So we have Dr. Wells, Harry, HR. What will be the next name for like Harrison Wells?
The question is, what are some of the next possibilities and names for a Wells character? And once again, I cannot tell you that. But maybe he has an accent. Maybe he's got more than one accent. Maybe he's got 3 accents. I don't know, would you like to see that? Yeah, well,
Okay, what about the little guy in the glasses, right over there? With the little coat, yep, you. Yep, you're turning around right now. There you are. Girl, sorry. No, I can't see that.
it's a young lady. I like your outfit. What do you got a box of Legos for?
I'm playing 11 from Street.
Oh, brilliant. 11. You gotta commit, you gotta shave your hair. Don't do that, don't do that.
Do you have any strange rituals to get into character, and if not, does anyone else on set?
The question was, do we have any strange rituals to get in character, and does anyone else on set? And also, a little shout out to Stranger Things, by the way. That's called the very definition of smattering, by the way, right there. You guys did, we're here for Flash, not Stranger Things. Anyway, the question basically is like, you know, when you do a long-running television show, you better have your character down. You know, you better not be grasping to figure out what you're going to play in a scene because it's just so repetitive and there's so much to do, and all of us do have the characters down. What that leads to is a massive amount of goofing around and joking right up till they say action. Anytime a guest director comes in, they expect us to be like, you know, revving up, being serious before a scene, and they come in and they're stunned because it's just like, you know, Carlos and I'll be banging on things, and like Grant will be like, you know, and then and the second they call action, it's like, listen, here's what we're, you know, I wish you could all witness the difference between what we're doing and then how quickly it changes into dramatic mode when they yell action. And it takes the director usually about a day or two to go, what, I can just call action? You know, while they're singing. And the first AD, the guy that runs the set, the 2 foremans, Phil and Bob, will be like, ignore them, just call action, they'll be there for you. Yeah.
So now I have to be the bad guy and tell you there's only 5 minutes left. So I need 2 more questions, and we'll be good. How about right back there? He's been standing forever with the hat. We're at the very back.
Or 10 questions and I talk really quick for 30 seconds. I'm messing with her. She has the worst job in the world.
Given that his timeline
And I mean, if you were a producer, you could arrange that, but I don't really have any, I'm not looking to do that. I love doing the Flash. That's the reason I signed on. I didn't sign on for, you know. What's that?
Not switching over to the show, I'm saying I guest spots, you know, like how Matt Lesser's Flash came back in season 2.
Oh yeah. No, not really. Next question.
Want me to do it? Okay, right, Wavy, right there. You promised me it's a good one.
Wavy.
It is.
Okay.
I love Ed and everything, but my question is actually about Mike and Tommy snacks.
Oh, perfect.
I'm a loyal viewer of the show. I know it's still tabled whether or not we're viewers, but
It's we're gonna tell you what, you clearly are, that's great.
Yeah.
Everyone else here is like, what is she talking about? It's like, that's dear to my heart, that's great.
yeah, and I love the purr system and everything. I'm just wondering, are you guys going to make any more episodes, and are there any snacks that you really wish you could come
Unequivocally, yes. Like that bastard Michael Ian Black has gotten so political lately. It's tough to get him to concentrate on snacks, but that's what Trump does, that idiot. So, so the question is about, so check this out. So if you're interested in seeing the R-rated version of things like Tom and Grant, you don't have to wait because there's a podcast that I do called Mike and Tom Eat Snacks with my friend Michael Ian Black, in which Mike and Tom eat snacks. What we do is, and this comes from on set, where we found like some of our favorite moments were when we were sitting at craft service and going, are you going to eat that? I bet Julie Bowen once $1,000. She bet me $1,000 I couldn't eat 12-foot-long hot dogs because they look gross, and she says, will you eat those? And I'm like, sure, I'll eat those. Will you eat 12 of those? I'm like, if you pay me. And I did eat them, and she didn't pay me. I let her off the hook. But so that was the genesis for Mike and Tom Eat Snacks, where every week we pick a snack, we eat the snack, we rate the snack, as the lovely woman said, that's the PER system, pick, eat, rate. We rate the snack, and largely it's not about the snack, it's about two guys just saying what, it's all improv, we don't plan anything. It's called Mates, Mike and Tom Eat Snacks, on iTunes and Nerdist. If you want to start out, I recommend the episode 27, Lorna Doone Cookies episode. It's not about the cookie at all, it's just about, it's a showbiz story about how Michael Ian Black was screwed out of the lead role on Deadwood. Deadwood, is that the name? Yeah. With Ian McShane. And that, if you like show business at all, and you don't like that episode, then Mike and Tom Eat Snacks is not for you, but I guarantee you'll like it. So, check it out, it's great. That's a good ending. Mike and Tom Eat Snacks, thank you.